That's my...
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Sharks Across Tokyo, week 3 of what fucking year is it? It is still 2024. Holy shit. You know what we're going to talk about today? We're going to move right on to a really, I call him a prolific director in Japan, but he's directed some wacky shit. This dude has a fucking weird, crazy career. Takashi Miike directed Audition, but he also directed movies with names that I can't pronounce because they're all in Japanese and they're all fucking insane.
Miike has never disappointed me yet. The worst thing I can say is his stories sometimes, lack focus. But if he's directing a movie, there are going to be things in it. There are going to be moments in it where you just kind of stand back and go, wow. Like inevitably, at some point, he's going to bring that factor into that movie. And you're just going to be like, God damn, that was awesome. Right? Like I've never seen anything he's done that didn't have me saying that at some point throughout the runtime. And this is no exception. This is the new gold standard for tokusatsu to me.
Okay, I am so fucking tickled to hear you say that because I was going to come, the first thing I was going to say is this movie rules and I want to watch it again right now.
This movie is amazing. I would watch this at the drop of a hat. I loved it.
Oh.
This is 4 stars. Absolutely loved it.
Zebraman, by the way, a movie with the dumbest fucking title imaginable.
I did not expect. Like I said, it's Miike. I knew there was going to be moments of greatness in it because there's always moments of greatness in what he does. I did not expect to actually enjoy most of the movie. I thought, okay, it's a tokusatsu movie. It's going to have some fun stuff.
Did you watch the trailer?
I did not watch anything. It's going to have some fun stuff. It's going to have some bullshit because it's tokusatsu. There's always some bullshit. There is no bullshit in this movie.
Yeah,
every single fucking moment of this movie is awesome. The worst I can say about it,
for the most part,
is it suffers from CGI. That's it.
But
the CGI was not ready for what he was trying to do with it.
If you think about it, do you think it was purposeful?
It's entirely possible because it would be in keeping with the themes of like the low budget tokusatsu show. I mean, this movie is very, very, like meta commentary about tokusatsu shows and stuff like that. I mean, it basically takes that tradition and is like, well, what if the show was actually a prophecy that was going to be fulfilled in the year 2010? Here's my question. Was Zebraman actually a thing?
No.
Okay, so it is entirely created out of whole
You'd be
cloth.
tricked if you just saw those Zebraman TV show clips.
They looked 100% legit. Even the actor they got to play it looked like he was styled and formed from the 70s, man.
Yeah.
They were perfect.
I have no idea how they did that.
It was so good. It was so good.
Perfect. I'm watching that show if it existed.
Absolutely. It's Spider-Man like all over, like it's down the line, the whole thing.
Spider-Man and Kamen Rider. It's
Kamen Rider.
And fucking wow. And
he the best thing is simultaneously it's a tokusatsu commentary, but it's also a story about a guy going through a midlife crisis. And so he buys a motorcycle because a hero has to have a motorcycle. He wants to know if his son thinks he can fly. Like he's having a full-on midlife crisis.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's covering all the tropes of tokusatsu with my limited knowledge, which I will admit is very limited, like just from the stuff you've introduced me to.
Yep.
But seriously,
they're all there.
It's absolutely crazy how good this movie is.
I wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of fun.
Yeah, that was my hope. My hope was just it's going to be fun. When it opened with the guy, I don't know who the guy is. It would be funny if he was the actor from Ichi the Killer because he starts out being itchy, his balls are itchy. It would be funny. It's probably not, but I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen Ichi the Killer.
The guy with crabs becomes a very important character throughout the movie.
But it starts with this dude with crabs. It's so crass right out the gate. Like it's And the crazy thing is, in those first few shots, it's like a fucking Wong Kar-wai movie. Like, the shot setup is so good, which Miike is always very strong on cinematography. Very, very strong. And sure enough, like, right out the gate, these guys are having this conversation in, I don't even know what it was. It was like a whorehouse or something like that. And it was...
Yeah, I don't know.
And it was so well shot and well done. And I'm like, Jesus, how is this movie so good immediately? We're not 3 sentences into dialogue and it's already sucked me right in.
And I'm so glad, because I didn't want to have to fucking convince you that this movie was good.
No, this movie is amazing.
Because I want to spend time talking about how good it actually is.
This movie is unironically fantastic.
It's another Toei movie. So we've done 3 Toei movies by 2 different directors now.
I'll tell you what, the thing about this that does piss me off, though, it shows that you can make a really good one of these movies. A really unironically good, when you have a director who's got a real vision and you've got a really solid script, both of which this has. And so it makes me pissed off when I think back to the movies where, you know, like they're fun, they have fun elements, but there's a lot of bullshit going on, you know. Zebraman is a perfect example.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of fun stuff in Zebraman. I was very, very vocal about it, but it's got some really boring parts, and they could have written around that stuff. They could have had the vision and done the good storytelling and made it a really fucking cool movie. And this movie proves it can be done.
I 100% agree. This is like, okay, some of the shots like linger a little too long. This movie is a little tiny bit too long because of the shots. A lot of the shots, it's like a mumblecore movie when they're just kind of sitting there talking.
There are some sequences that could be trimmed a little.
I kind of know why.
I don't hate the. I feel like it works.
Yeah, no, I assume that they had limited time to shoot, maybe, and that's why there's almost no coverage in like a lot of the dialogue scenes. Literally no coverage. They're just like single shots.
Yeah.
On these 2 actors. It's like Kevin Smith showed up and said, "Hey, you should do it this way." It really is, but these actors,
the shot composition is really good. That's the difference.
These actors are fucking acting their asses off like it's a play.
They are. Every single one of them is really good.
And we haven't even gotten to the dumb action bullshit.
Yeah. And the dumb action is some of the greatest the climax of this movie had ridiculous. Me screaming. It was fantastic. I literally like burst out in laughter and hilarity. It was so glorious. I fucking loved it. And I wasn't laughing at it, man. I was with it. I was 100% with it.
I finished the movie and I was really tired last night, so I'm like, you know what? I think I wasn't completely sure because I was tired. Everybody was here, like Rachel's dad was here and they were all playing a game, and I'm like, I just kind of want to watch the movie. They were playing the Game of Life, which is fucking long and boring, and I didn't want to play it. So I'm like,
boy, you just said a mouthful.
And I'm just like, I'm just going to sit here and watch the movie. I'll run over there and comment on dumb shit that you guys are doing.
The Game of Life is long and boring, and I don't want to play it. I just want to watch a movie.
Yeah, that's... Wow.
Boy,
what a metaphor.
You just summed up my fucking life, man.
And I'm sitting there, I'm watching this fucking movie, and I'm just like, huh. Like, is this my new favorite movie? It got done, and I'm like, I think this could enter the top 10 a little bit.
This is easily in my top 10 for the movies I saw. This is probably in my top 5, maybe even my top 3 of the movies I've seen this year.
And then I had to watch it again today, and again, it's a little long. I'm still kind of tired, so I'm like, fuck. I didn't have as much fun watching it the second time, but it's only because I was taking a bunch of notes. I have a ton of fucking notes that we may or may not get to. Who cares? Because there's so much shit happening. Every dialogue scene brings us something new, some new character thing that you have to note if you're going to talk about that kind of stuff. Because you get character development in this, you get action, you get all the things that you need.
But that's the great thing about it too, is like there's all that detail, all of that intricate character development, the storytelling, the plot direction, you know, it's all being worked, but at the same time, this is still a story that you can sum up in like a sentence or 2 really clearly. Like, okay, this teacher who grew up on this anime...
Tokusatsu show.
This tokusatsu... that's right, sorry, you're right. Tokusatsu. This teacher who grew up as a kid on this tokusatsu show is dissatisfied with his life, and he takes refuge in fantasizing about being that hero until he ultimately decides to become that hero, and it turns out that it was prophesied by the TV show that took place in the year he's doing this in.
And that is the dumbest fucking most awesome idea ever.
It's so silly and it's so simplistic, but it's treated with such care and such love. There's clearly, I don't know if Mike wrote the script, but whoever wrote the script clearly loved the tokusatsu genre and wanted to tell. They basically went in wanting to do the best tokusatsu ever made. And in my opinion, they did it. Admittedly, my opinion is very limited. My experience is very limited. But this, the only thing I'll say against it is if you have someone who hasn't seen tokusatsu, don't show them this. It sets the bar too fucking high.
That's funny that you bring that up, because I'm going to bring up, I watched 2 different videos talking about this movie, because I like to do that because I'm an asshole. Before I spit out my own opinion, I like to get other people's to skew mine because I suck and I shouldn't do that, but it happens. So I watched two different videos that they both liked the movie, but they both thought about it in 2 different ways. So the first video I watched was like 20 minutes, or 10 minutes. It was really short. The dude said essentially that if you're not into tokusatsu, this is not a movie you're going to love, because it's a love letter to tokusatsu, and it really
is, yeah.
Especially all the random toku crap that they the Zebraman.
You're not going to get
show
the
in the show. Yeah.
You're not going to get all that stuff.
It's not going to do it for you. But he's like, I like it, but it's ultimately a film that doesn't work. And I'm like, is he right? I don't think he's right.
No, I don't think he's right.
And then I go to this other one, and it's this video. This kid, I can't remember his name. I'll find it here in a minute, because I actually want to give him a plug if anybody actually listens, because he was funny as shit. I did not the video started. I'm like, this is not going to go well. I'm not going to like this guy. But like the way the video flowed, I'm like, this guy's funny as fuck. What the fuck? That's awesome, because the whole video is him going, I used to be an asshole, and I think I hated this movie, and I hated this stuff or whatever. Then he's talking to his past self, and his past self is an asshole, and his current self is like he's like, no, I'm reevaluating this movie, and this is happening, and it's pretty good, and all that shit. So he comes to the conclusion that ultimately the movie does work. Obviously, I think he mentions the same thing, like if you're not a toku person, it's probably going to be weird, but ultimately it is a good movie.
There is a part of me that wants to show this to someone who's never seen a toku movie, because I would just like to get their opinion on, like whether or not it makes sense without having any background. So in that respect, I could see an argument for someone who says it doesn't work if you don't have any background in tokusatsu. I'm not sure that I agree, but I can at least see the argument being made there. But, much like Ready to Rumble, right? Like there's a lot of wrestling stuff that's in that if you're not into wrestling, doesn't make as much sense. But I got into it not having been into wrestling.
The wrestling stuff is just kind of the reason for them doing all the goofy crap. So
yeah, but
that's something you can latch onto if you're not into those things.
I'm just saying, like with any fandom, within any genre, Scream is another great example. I had never watched slashers growing up. I had heard about them by osmosis, and I had seen maybe one. I think I had seen Nightmare on Elm Street. I had never seen Halloween up to that point. I had never seen the Friday the 13th up to that point. But Scream still sucked me right in, because while it is meta commentary on the genre, it's also a really well told story. And that's what this is. It's a really well told story. So I think that the meta commentary on the genre definitely works for people who have any level of understanding of the genre. Like I said, even me with my limited understanding of the genre, which I admit, very limited. I've literally only watched the stuff that you've introduced me to. So Kamen Rider, Spider-Man, Jew Ranger, just the stuff you've introduced me to, right? And
I mean, Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills, of course.
That absolutely. I should have mentioned that one.
The one that doesn't work but works 100% of the time, if you understand what that means.
Oh God.
The one that actually, in some way, it's way worse than Power Rangers, but in some ways way better. It's really weird.
Yeah.
That show is so fucking strange. I just can't even. But yeah.
But it works because it's a well-told story. I do believe it works. I don't think it's the kind of movie that wouldn't work at all if you haven't seen Tokusatsu. You wouldn't get all the references is all the thing. You wouldn't understand, the history and what it's playing with entirely. You wouldn't get the fullness of it. But the story is very well crafted, and I don't think that it would stop you from enjoying it. It wouldn't be a blockade to enjoying the movie. It just wouldn't be fully for you. And years later, after you've gone and watched the movies, or the shows and stuff like that, and you come back to it, you go, oh, it's that. Like, now I get it.
You are aware that there's a sequel, right?
I am, and I'm very curious.
Do you know
Did
anything
Miike direct it?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I'm there.
I need to watch it because it looks fucking nuts. This looks like a good movie, and it looks like it's almost a Gremlins 2 situation where they were like, we made such a good movie the first time, let's just have fun and be weird this time.
Okay, I'm down.
Which I actually like Gremlins 2 a little better than the first one. It's a little more fun.
I like Gremlins 2, but I haven't seen Gremlins 2 since I was a kid, so I don't know how much I'd like it now.
I did rewatch them both like right around the same time pretty recently.
Yeah, I haven't watched it as an adult.
And with my sense of humor and my just the things that I like now, the second one is a lot more fun. The Gremlins look so good.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember that the puppet work in that movie was really fucking good.
Oh, here's something that's topical too. Hulk Hogan's in it, and he has a funny moment. Tell me you saw that.
Oh yeah.
Like the current Hogan.
Yeah, I just saw like a little snippet, and I was
God.
like, wow.
I'm like, this is a joke, right? He's in front of a green screen. No, he's there.
No, it's for real. It's for real.
I'm like, okay, guys, can we agree not to take these people seriously anymore, or?
Oh Lord.
Life is hard. All my heroes are fucking going down in flames and shit.
Was Hulk Hogan really your hero?
When I was a small child, so I guess it doesn't matter.
That I don't think there's anything wrong with that. When you were a small child, yeah, Hogan was the big visible hero they were pushing out. But if you got older and Hogan's still your hero, you need to re-examine some shit.
Oh yeah, you need to put your Suburban Commando DVD down. So this is going to be kind of hard, I think, but let's talk a little bit about the plot. It's a simple plot, but there's a lot of stuff going on around it.
Yeah.
So, like, there's these two detectives that I'm calling them detectives. They're not technically detectives. They're working for, like, this government agency.
Yeah, like a government security service or something.
Because
it's high-level government.
Because there's fucking aliens. That's a spoiler alert.
Yeah.
They make an Ultra Q joke because the guy's like, I have crabs. And he's like, maybe it's the crab monsters or some shit. And the boss guy's like, it's not Ultra Q, goddammit.
Yeah.
There's 10,000 bearded seals migrating for some reason. And rape and arson are off the charts. And our detective has crabs. And it's just fucking... So, it's a lot. It's kind of a goofy opening for...
I think the idea is that this one specific town
is
experiencing
yeah.
like so much of this unusual activity, and they have come to the determination that it's alien involvement.
The first time we meet our hero, who is his name is Ichikawa, he's a teacher. He's a third grade supervisor, so I don't know if that's the same thing, or if he's like a substitute, or if he just kind of shows up to different third grade classes and like teaches whatever needs to be taught. Or
I think the idea is like he oversees like all of the third grade, but he so he can step in when it's needed.
That makes sense, actually. I didn't even think about that.
Because he starts off by announcing that there was something had come up with their teacher, and he wouldn't be able to be there, and then everybody's like, "You're a fucking weirdo,
you're a loser." And he's sitting in this small little room with a sewing machine, and he's watching this Sentai-like show, Radioactive Ranger or something. And it's just
it looks so fucking good. That
like,
show,
dude, and it has the villain, the bad guys that this dude is fighting are the chick from The Ring.
Yeah, that's right. It's The Ring versus Power Rangers,
and then there's
basically.
like a bunch of them, and I'm like, oh, that makes me so happy.
She's literally crawling out of a well just in the middle of the street.
And there's all sorts of weird character shit happening at the beginning. The detectives like pretend to be gay because it's less weird when they walk into an apartment together than them just kind of like chilling in the same house.
This is a Coen Brothers movie. This is a Japanese Coen Brothers movie.
that YouTuber actually said that. He's like, he's less of a horror guy, Takashi Miike, and more of a Tarantino like guy because he's directed
that's fair.
every genre. He does not fuck around. That YouTube channel, by the way, it's called Zaya Enterprise America, ZAIA. He has 166 views on that Zebraman video and 1,000 1,048 subscribers. Is that what that means? 1.48K.
1.48K. It's 1.48 thousand.
Math is hard. So yeah,
it's 1,480.
Okay, thank you. I'm a dumbass. I subscribed. You should too. He was actually really funny. I haven't watched any of his other videos, so
well, color me curious. I'll have to check it out.
Maybe I'll have to email him and be like, "Come on the show. Let's talk about some shit."
I don't know. We don't want to bring on someone who's that much more funny than us.
But we can take his 166 people that watch his videos and bring him over here, and we can give him our 12 people who watch our videos,
including us.
Yeah. So also, our hero has a shitty family. They don't respect him at all. He has a wife, a son, and a daughter. The daughter's like, "I'm leaving. I'm going out." And he's like, "Dude, there's a fucking serial killer running around." She's like, "Yeah, who cares?" And then the mom comes home just as the daughter's leaving, and she's like, "Oh, you going out?" And the daughter's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Here's some money. Have fun. I just got home."
She's like, "Well, take a cab. There's a serial killer."
Take a cab. There's a serial killer.
And the dad, this dude is like,
he's a pushover.
He's such a pushover. He is. Yeah. I mean, first off, he's like, "Why are you going out to meet strange guys you just met on the internet? You're in junior high school."
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's in junior high, even though she looks like a high schooler.
I mean, I think maybe junior high school means something different over there, but I'm not sure. Like maybe it means high school, and maybe like senior would be like college or something like that.
Yeah, because she is very young. She's dating a very old guy with gray hair.
Yeah, this dude looks like he's my age at least.
The wife is definitely cheating on him.
Oh, this dude's home life is fucked.
His son gets teased at school because his dad is the third grade supervisor, and
he's
he's a dork.
Everybody thinks he's a weirdo, and they're bullying his son for it. And his son's like, or no, he says, "Well, I may have a transfer coming up." He's like, "Can't you go now?"
He's like, "Oh, you're not going with me." And then that's why he retreats to his little sanctuary, his little nerd room where he does his Zebraman cosplay, and he's like fucking around and being like a real kid about it, which is fine. This is normal now. This movie came out in 2004, so he's like fucking around in his room doing calling out all these moves and stuff, and his suit rips, not because he's fat, but I assume it's because
he used the wrong material.
Yeah, well, he was fucking around and watching the show and getting all distracted when he was sewing earlier. Did you see that? Yeah. So, then
he did use the wrong material. It's not a stretchy material.
Oh yeah, no, it's
stretchy.
At school, we meet a small child in a wheelchair. He's also in third grade. His name is Shinpai, and he is very, very, very important. He will become the dude's child for the duration of the movie because nobody really cares about his family except for his son in a couple scenes.
Yeah, his son does come back.
His wife and daughter.
I thought for a second he was going to have to kill off his family because they got possessed by the aliens. Like his wife, and then, okay, was I wrong, or is his daughter the one who has the green baby?
No. So Shinpai is in a wheelchair. Mom requests no special treatment. I don't remember what mom's name is, so she will heretofore be referred to as mom, unless I figure out what her name is, which is unlikely. Now, the daughter, we cut to his daughter.
Manic pixie nurse girl.
Yes. Well, oh, yeah, she is a nurse, too. We cut to Ichikawa's daughter.
Zebra nurse!
Yes. We cut to Ichikawa's daughter, whose name is Midori. She is hanging out with this old dude, and she's in this fucking schoolgirl uniform, which she was not wearing.
This dude is so fucking skeezy.
He is creepy as fuck. He goes and he opens this bag, and it has this weird thing. We don't really know what it is. It's a mask, and we'll get to him.
Well, they had mentioned already that
there's a crab guy.
The killer who killed somebody with scissors was wearing a crab mask.
And it looks like a crab mask. He gives her like a reverse panda keychain or some shit.
Apparently it's some kind of exclusive thing that he can only get because he's in entertainment.
Ooh, entertainment, huh?
He's definitely got casting couch vibes to him.
This scene is so creepy.
It's so gross. There's this scene where she jumps forward and she's looking at the keychain and she's kind of sitting with her ass in the air, and he goes around back and just starts like looking at her whatever is showing under her schoolgirl skirt.
And then he goes, "Do it again." Because she's like, "Can I take this thing off now?" And then he's like, "No, we got to do it again." And then he kind of like stands up, and then it cuts. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Well, I know what they're doing, but like, how gross is it going to get?
Yeah, I'm glad they cut away when they did. That was going to be nasty.
And then we cut back to Ichikawa, who's fucking around.
The guy is so
he's so creepy.
Gross.
But it's okay. We'll get him later. Ichikawa debates on whether or not he should go out. Outside, he's like, "There's a vending machine right across the street. I think I'm going to go out." He does. He falls on his face.
This is Kick-Ass, where where Kick-Ass is like every serial killer before me. I knew that eventually fantasizing wasn't going to be enough. You know?
That's what I kept describing it as. It's kick-ass. Like 3 years before the movie came out.
Yeah.
And probably 2 years before the comic even came out. Because like I know they started making the movie like concurrently with the release of the comic.
Matthew Vaughn started working on the script at the same time as what's his name started working on the comic.
Mark Millar, the
yeah.
perpetual fucking child, Mark Millar.
I don't know anything about him. I just know that they were working on him concurrently.
Everything he writes is just really gross.
Like they both came together, talked over the idea, and then went their separate ways and wrote their. Vaughn wrote his script. Millar wrote his comic script, and
everything he writes is really mean-spirited and really gross. And
that's fair. Kick-Ass was pretty fucking mean-spirited.
The first movie like is a little bit, but then once you get to that second movie,
I was talking about the comic specifically.
Oh god, I read both of them.
The comic is way more mean-spirited than the movie is.
Like the movie's fun. It gets a little dark.
It gets very dark, but it does have like a fun spirit to it.
Yeah.
Whereas the comic book is
not really
mean.
No.
It's still funny. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's.
I mean, if you want to laugh and feel gross, then there you go.
Yeah.
But he also wrote like Kingsman and all that shit too.
Yeah.
Which wasn't Kingsman; it was just called The Secret Service, I believe. And Wanted, which Wanted in the comic has a way weirder story. Do you know? Like,
I've never read the comic.
I never have either. But the Dom or Dominic Noble on YouTube. Sorry, he doesn't go by the Dom anymore. Did what's the difference between the movie and the book? That's his big show, and he talked about it, and I'm like, what the fuck? The comic sounds awesome, but apparently it's also mean-spirited and gross and sexist and just racist, and I'm like, god damn, can he just not? Can he tell a cool story without being icky?
Well, everybody's got their style, you know.
And apparently he can. He wrote like Logan, the old man Logan, so he's capable.
Well, he probably had Marvel breathing down his neck pretty hard on that.
Don't be an asshole. Wolverine's an asshole. You don't be an asshole. Make him a likable asshole, though. So we also learned that Shinpai is into Zebraman. That'll come back later. So
yeah. So like he happens to connect with this kid who is also one of the only people in Japan who even knows what Zebraman is.
Yeah, they're talking. So Zebraman was a show from the 70s that got canceled after 7 episodes because nobody gave a shit. A bunch of Ichikawa's friends were like, "Why is the hero black and white when we have color TVs and the theme song's lame?"
In fairness, that was the 70s. Like that
it was a very new thing, and and everybody's like, they called him Cemetery Man or some shit.
It took me like 3/4 of the movie to figure that out
which is cool.
Eventually, I realized, it's because he kind of looks like he's a skeleton. The way the zebra stripes are painted. He looks a little bit like a skeleton.
And he's running through that store later, and somebody goes, "Cemetery Man." I would watch the shit out of that show, though. I really would. and they look at each other, and Shinpai goes, "Do you know what year it is?" And he's like, 2010. Yeah, the year that Zebraman first appeared. And he's like, oh, shit. They're both excited about that. It's very fun.
And Zebraman was a school teacher.
Yes. The only thing that's different is that, Ichikawa doesn't walk around with a guitar strapped around him like a fucking douchebag all the time. And Ishikawa is constantly distracted at work, and all that shit. But he and this other teacher are tasked with going out and telling kids to go the fuck home because it's past curfew or whatever, because the killers are out and all this bad shit's happening. The guy that he is with is the biggest fucking tool.
What a tool.
He screams at these young-ish people that are not in high school anymore, according to Ichigawa.
Yeah.
Just so he can have access to their food that they were eating.
Yeah. And he just sits down and starts eating the food that they had been eating, and he's such a dick.
And he's like, this one time, this world's going to shit. This one time, I caught this guy dressed like a woman.
No, he was dressed like in Sailor Moon.
Yeah, something
style,
like that, like a school outfit thing.
Yeah,
schoolgirl outfit. And Ichikawa was like, "Well, what was he doing?" He's like, "Just walking
around."
And Ichikawa was like, "Yeah, no, that's bad. Dude, don't be mean to that person." He doesn't say that because he's a pussy.
Yeah,
he's not Zebraman yet, guys.
But this guy, what a piece of shit.
Ichikawa's gonna go dress up like Zebraman, show Shinpai, but because he thinks Shinpai will think it's cool, because his own kid doesn't think he's cool, so he's adopting this child.
He's seriously like looking for a second family at this point. He's like, this family's fucked. I gotta go find these people who will actually like me for me.
Well.
Which is why I actually did think he was going to end up having to kill his family throughout the course of the story.
With the sense of humor that this movie goes for, I wouldn't have been really surprised.
it's kind of dark,
But I don't think that that's this movie, though.
No, it didn't turn
definitely
out
isn't.
to be, and I'm glad that it didn't turn out to be, but I did think it might go that way.
There's definitely something has to happen, but I don't know if we're ever going to find out because the sequel takes place 50 years later.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
40 years later in 2050.
Huh.
And it looks fucking nuts.
I'm there.
You just got to buy that shit. Yeah.
I'm definitely buying the Ultimate Collection.
God, that makes me happy.
The two disc, 2 movie collection, because this movie was fucking rad.
He's about ready to show Shinpai. He's trying to find his house. He can't find his house for some fucking reason. But he hears a woman screaming and decides it's a good idea to go like rescue her or something. I'm like, dude, you're not actually Zebraman, you fucking idiot. What are you doing? If you're a good person, you probably would also go try and see why a woman is screaming. I am a pussy, and I want to be a good person. I don't know if I would do that, though.
Well, it turns out he's too late.
Yes, she's dead as shit, but it's a guy in a fucking crab mask.
It's
with
the
scissors.
guy. It's the guy who was banging his daughter earlier.
It's the guy who was banging his daughter earlier.
And he gets unintentional revenge on him.
Yeah. He's like, stop that shit, you asshole. And the dude's like throwing scissors at him.
Oh, no. Wait, I don't want to rush past this.
No,
there's a brilliant little scene where he's like, who are you supposed to be? And he's like, Zebraman. And he's like, what? Zebraman. I can't hear you. What are you saying?
Yeah, this scene. This is the scene from Surf Ninjas where Johnny doesn't know how to fight, but then all of a sudden happens to know how to fight because magic and shit.
Yeah, basically.
But you've never seen Surf Ninjas.
I haven't seen Surf Ninjas, but I do know that that's what happens in this scene because he just all of a sudden has the powers of Zebraman.
And you know what it doesn't? You know what it doesn't do? Look like shit. It looks fucking awesome, and
No, it is. It's pretty cool.
I'm trying to wrap my head around how cool this movie looks.
I mean, he like gets his ass kicked a little bit at first, but then when it really counts, like he suddenly is like dodging these scissors that this dude is throwing at him and stuff, and then he ends up punching the guy so fucking hard that he caves his face into his skull.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
There's a fist-sized hole in his face, and we'll tell you what's in it here in a minute. So he kills the crab guy, and the detectives show up, but Shinpai is there, but no Zebraman. Because Shinpai happened to be out with his mom, I guess.
Yeah, and then he just rolled away from his mom.
He sees Zebraman running down the street, and he's like, oh, fuck, I'm going to go follow that guy, because I think the kid knows something's up.
Well, I mean, he's just saw Zebraman, and he's obsessed with Zebraman. So a lot of kids would, roll into some sketchy circumstances given that. Yeah. So
the crab guy has that big hole in his face. It's filled with green goo. We don't know what it is.
Yeah, no blood, just green goo.
I'm probably skipping a few things, but there's also an explosion, so Ichikawa is going to go investigate, and he finds...
Yeah, that's the next night.
Yeah, he finds an arsonist and does the Zebraman back kick off screen. He literally says, back kick, like Zebraman back kick, zebra back kick or something. And we don't see it, but we see the aftermath. We cut to the two detectives, and they're looking at this mangled-ass pretzel body because he kicked the dude's face so hard that it folded over the...
His head is twisted back, and it is pressed tight against his spine.
And there's a fucking horseshoe footprint on his face, and it's like got the green goo kind of like oozing out of it a little bit.
Well, it's like filling the impression of the horseshoe.
That's fucking awesome. And the principal of the school is very important. He'll become important later, but he's a very serious guy, so we'll talk about him. Ichikawa hangs out with Shinpai without his mom being there. Not creepy at all. It's fine. It's all right. In the context of the film, it's not creepy at all.
No, it's not. But when his mom walks in and he's just sitting there, they're browsing the internet together.
Looking at Zebraman stuff.
Looking at Zebraman like, yeah, that in I'll tell you what, in the U.S., the cops had been called immediately.
No good. And there are also shots of like a locked up cellar that we don't really know what it is, but there's some green shit oozing out of it. So
it's very obviously the cellar in the supply closet of the school gymnasium, because there's like basketballs and stuff like that in there.
And the principal, we do see him like taping up and locking down the outside of whatever building that is.
So clearly some shit is going down in the school gymnasium. It comes out later that the principal has locked down and completely isolated the gymnasium.
Yep. So Ichikawa has dinner with Shinpai and his mom, and we learn that Shinpai's dad committed suicide, and he was a doctor, and a patient died because of another doctor's fuck up, so that's kind of messed up. This is sad, man.
And then it shows him jumping off the roof.
Yeah.
And then Shinpai discovers the body. I'm like, wow, this is a dark fucking movie, dude.
That's probably, I assume, why he's in the wheelchair, because the mental block of having found your dad's dead body, because he's not like paralyzed or anything.
Yeah,
the doctors can't find anything wrong with him.
Yeah, it's like a psychosomatic thing, and somehow that's how his brain is coping with the horror of finding his dad.
And then we get the hallucinations / dream sequence.
Oh, well, no. It's presaged by...
It's a little hallucination, because he's talking to the mom.
The mom sees it.
I don't think she actually sees it. I think he sees her see it. She goes, ah! And then it's the crab, the crab monster from the show peeking his head in.
Yeah.
And then the mom's just kind of like putting with her hand on her face because I think she's sad.
You think she didn't actually have that reaction? Yeah. He just saw her react like that in his madness.
That is what I'm assuming.
Okay.
And then he's like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And then he goes, and then we have the real dream sequence.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's fighting the crab monster guy, and the crab monster grows all big and cuts his arm off with his claws, and he's like, zebra nurse, and it's Shinpei's mom, and she's all hot and stuff in her zebra nurse costume.
And she's got a helmet that looks like the tip of a dick.
There's more penis imagery. I expect it from Takashi, to be fair. And then she like welds a new arm on him. It's like a welder thing.
It's a giant syringe, but it's got like a glowing tip on it.
It's weird.
Yeah,
and he grows just another arm.
It's pretty wild.
And then they take the crab guy home after he beats him up, and they eat him.
It shows them sitting at dinner with Shinpai, and there's all this crab laid out on the table that they're eating, and they're laughing hysterically in like an almost insanity mode while Shinpai is just sitting there blank. It's such a weird dream sequence. I loved it.
And then we cut to Ichikawa. He's running out of school, and all these kids are like, bedhead, or some shit. So that'll be important. The bedhead thing is weird.
Yeah.
I figured out what it is, but it took me a minute.
Okay, please enlighten me. That's one of the things I did not
It's just my guess. It's just my guess of what it is. But,
all right, I'm curious.
So he's running out of school, and then he fucking puts on his Zebraman costume and goes and stops a couple crimes and beats the shit out of some people. And it's great. And that's where somebody calls him, "Hey, Cemetery Man," and then somebody else is like, "No." But he gets back to the school.
They don't call him Cemetery Man. That's the movie. They call him Undertaker Man.
Undertaker Man. Yeah. Thank you. Cemetery Man. You're right. Undertaker Man. When Ishikawa gets back to the school, Shinpei is getting interrogated by the detective and the principal, and they're like, "Who the fuck is it?" He's like, "I don't know, man." Because he's been at every crime scene so far. Sooner
or later, it's going to become obvious that Shinpei is the one killing these people.
I was going to say, he's been at every crime scene, and I say crime scene, every murder scene. All these bad guys are getting murdered. And some science people are like fucking with some of that green goo because aliens and shit. This scene doesn't really go anywhere. It does end with a dude like washing his dick.
I was just going to say, because they're in a bathhouse, right? And like,
that is where they're at.
They're doing this experiment in a bathhouse for some reason. It's never explained why they're doing it. But at the end of their conversation, and they're all in hazmat gear, and then this dude walks in with a bowl, ass out, just squats in front of the pool that they're doing this experiment in and starts scooping water and splashing it on his sack. It's such a hilarious way for that scene to end.
It makes no fucking sense.
Oh God, I loved
it. It's ridiculous. We do find out that they're transferring Shinpai because he's fucking dangerous, according to the principal. But Ichikawa is suspicious of the principal because he's been kind of acting weird lately.
He has, yeah. I'm with you on that one.
Something weird happens to Ichikawa's head. Okay, so what the bedhead thing? So he's talking to the principal, and like all of a sudden, like it looks like spikes shoot out of his fucking head or something.
It's his hair becomes the Zebraman mane.
Yes, I think you know what that is. It's his spider sense.
Oh, because you know what? I think you're right.
Immediately after that, he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta go." And this principal's like, "Where the fuck are you going?" He's like, I go to the bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom.
No, that makes total sense. That it's his spider sense. It's zebra hair.
And
it's the hair on the back of a zebra's neck, the mane.
Yeah, and it goes,
okay, all right, that makes total sense. Yeah, thank you. I'm on board with that.
There's a bus full of kids that have glowing green eyes, and I'm pretty sure Ichikawa's son is on. Oh, Ichikawa's son is definitely on this bus, because the green goo has escaped from the building that the principal locked up. You see it leaking out, and the kids are all
the principal like red taped. There's so many rolls of tape, empty rolls of tape on the floor. He taped every seam in the fucking building like he's trying to make it watertight.
And these kids go to this little shop area, and they get out of the bus and start fucking things up, and they're just acting feral and violent and beating the shit out of people, stealing watermelons and
I
shit.
thought Zebraman was going to kick some kids to death.
I wanted him to so bad. He doesn't, though. He just comes and...
Well, he sees his son,
Yeah.
and, you know, like, he's not going to kill his son.
I do like that the detectives and everybody are already there. Zebraman shows up like, he's just like, yeah, I'm coming, and everybody's like, the fuck?
Yeah, no, he rolls in and then stops.
And he's like...
everyone's staring at him.
Yeah, he's like, oh, fuck, everybody's looking at me. What the fuck? Then he just goes. He's like, fuck it, I gotta do a thing. Because I think Zebraman mind is taken over. The prophecy is coming true.
No, he's in hero mode now.
We don't know it's a prophecy yet, so...
Yeah,
Spoiler
that
alert.
hasn't come out yet, but clearly something is happening that he's gaining these powers.
Yes. And, you know, he sees his son, he carries him away, and there's also a green baby being born. Nothing.
Yeah, this is intercut with no context.
Nothing
green
happens
baby being
with the
born.
green. I want to see that episode of the show. What the fuck happened?
We lost 10 minutes there to get it down to runtime,
Yeah.
and there's a whole subplot with the green baby.
What the fuck? Because there's a script called The Green
Green
Baby.
Baby. Yeah.
I'm like, there's a story there. Yeah. So the principal is also now, I wrote down, you'll see about the fucking green baby. Because we don't see it yet, but oh
Right.
man. So the principal is also inside the building with the green goo, and shit's gonna go wrong here soon. It's fine. This is where the movie starts flying off the rails.
Very much
Everything
so,
was
yes.
kind of subtle up until this point. Everything is decidedly not subtle anymore. So Ichikawa pins his kid down and like takes off his mask, and the kid ends up like puking
It
like
looks so inappropriate
Yes.
if it wasn't his dad trying to wrestle him into, you know, like because he knows he's got something in him that's bad.
Oh, by the way, both videos that I watched about this movie brought up the fact that the aliens look like flubber, and I'm gonna say it. And also, I'm also gonna say that, but I had the thought before I watched the videos, so we all just noticed that it looked like flubber.
Independently, I was watching this with my roommate, and they said, "Holy shit, it's flubber!"
I said the kid pukes up a big flubber booger. What the fuck?
Yeah,
and then that's how the kid is no longer possessed by.
He's
the weird
exercised
alien.
by getting
Yes.
that out. Yeah.
So now there's a swimming pool inside the gymnasium, obviously, and the principal's getting drug around like underneath all this goo. It's filled. Filled with this green shit.
The entire gym is filled like 2 feet deep with this green slime that's undulating and waving all over the place.
So now, oh man, so we do see the green baby, and keep in mind, I'm watching this by myself, kind of on the couch, and everybody else is at the table, and Lydia looks up and goes, "What's that?"
It's horrifying.
It is gross. It's creepy. It's not a
It's
real baby,
so
thank
throaty.
fucking God.
No.
But like, wow.
I was having Serbian film flashbacks.
I was not prepared for some of the weirdness. Like, the other two movies that we've done so far are normal. Nothing that weird has happened in those movies. I'm used to that kind of shit. I've seen The Thing and Alien enough times. That's all normal shit to me.
The green baby was very out of left field.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really come back around again.
It doesn't. She mentions it?
Yeah, she
Right
mentioned
in this scene
Yeah,
here?
he goes to visit the nurse to try and get her to help his son, and she's like, "We're not taking patients because there was a green baby."
You don't want to hang out here because green baby.
Apparently, the
Let's
whole
go.
hospital shut down because of the green baby.
And then, so he ends up taking his kid to that lady's house, and she's like, "Could you possibly be Zebraman?"
She's definitely into it.
But he's like, "Fuck yeah, baby! Let me tell you about my sexy nurse dream I had about you."
Which he does.
he says he is, and that the enemies he's fighting aren't human. He asks her to keep his true identity secret from Shenpai. Not really sure why, but
Well, he doesn't. My roommate said the same thing. Didn't know why. I think it's because he doesn't want to disappoint Shenpai with
the fact that it's
just him.
Yeah.
You know, it's just him.
That sounds fair.
Like he doesn't want it to be a meet your heroes, you know, and get disappointed by him thing.
And now the story itself is really gonna kick into high gear because the next scene, Ichikawa brings flowers to the desk of the principal because, as far as we know, the principal's dead. And
No, I mean, it literally.
I mean, obviously, the
it
principal's
literally
dead.
cuts back to a tape outline on the floor of the
Yes.
gymnasium where they
Yes.
would have found his body. Although I'm kind of surprised nobody noticed the fucking sea of green slime in there.
the sea of green slime escaped. So here is where Ichikawa finds a key and a note that the principal left for him. It It says in English, anything goes. Anything goes is a big deal. I don't know what it means.
The anything goes thing.
Like they say it at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's just like on the screen at the beginning. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Nobody says it. It's weird. Yeah. Anything goes.
I guess maybe because like I think maybe the idea is that like it's culturally weird for this dude to be dressing up as Zebraman and going out and fighting monsters. You know, like in a real world sense, it's weird. And you know, like he has that conversation with the guy where it's like it's just completely unacceptable for a man to dress up like that and just walk around, you know. And so I think the idea is it was saying, hey, it's okay, you know, like it doesn't matter. The rules about that don't matter.
And also he knows a little more than we know at this point because
turns out the principal was more in the know than we would have guessed.
Ichikawa goes to what I can assume is the principal's apartment.
Well, an apartment that the principal has.
Anyway. It's also right next to where the detectives are staying.
Literally the next door down.
Very loud, by the way. Very loud, right next to some train tracks. Yikes.
Oh, God. That apartment would have sucked so bad.
So they walk into this place, and there's just a fucking fish bag, a fish in a bag, just hanging there. And I'm
being held up by like a
tripod.
By like a tripod. Yeah.
I'm like, why? They look at it.
It's never addressed. It's never addressed.
And then there's like a rack with a bunch of magazines and books and stuff. There's no magazines. But then they find the Zebraman scripts.
Turns out the principal was the screenwriter of the original Zebraman series.
And he wrote several scripts, 7 of which aired.
The 7 that aired were printed scripts, and then the rest were all handwritten.
And they name off 4 of them: The Boy in the Wheelchair, Crabman, The Green Baby, and Gymnasium. And he starts looking through all these, and he's like, wait a minute. Boy in the Wheelchair, the fucking Crabman, fucking...
It all happened.
Like, what? And then he brings them back to Shinpai and the mom, and he's like, dude, everything in these scripts has been happening, like, almost exactly. The only issue is there's no mention of a principal. Then they're like, oh, that guy. He fucking wrote these things, and oh my God, and it's a prophecy, and everything's fucking crazy.
It turns out he was trying to warn the world
about a UFO
but they canceled
crash.
The show because nobody gave a shit.
Yep. Fucking A, man. So yeah, there's a UFO crash 34 years ago or some shit.
Back in the 70s.
Right where the school ended up being built. Oh, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. There's a lot.
And so after getting fired from the show, the guy came back to find the school being built on the site of the crash, and he stayed on as a teacher. I love that that's a viable character arc for a character in one of these shows. He was a screenwriter and just stayed on as a teacher.
It just worked. He was
just like, I guess I'm a teacher now because there's a school.
Yeah, and eventually he became the principal.
But you know what? 100% on brand for a tokusatsu show.
And who knows? I don't know what the Japanese educational system looked like back then.
That's true. I don't either. It could be. It was much easier to be a teacher.
I don't know what it looks like now, to be honest. So
maybe in the 70s, all you had to do was show up and be semi-literate.
Did you have to go to college to be a teacher in the 70s in America?
I have no idea. I don't know.
So one of our detectives, we find out, is also possessed by one of the weird alien creatures. And he starts bubbling like the toxic fucking Avenger. More stuff is happening, but at this point, it doesn't matter, because this is where shit starts to get real cool. He melts into this little green guy, and his buddy detective is like, dude, what the fuck is going on? He has this like flamethrower thing that, they also melt people.
Yeah.
That are like vessels of these aliens.
Yeah.
And he blows the fucking little alien guy away. Then we cut back to Ichikawa and his son, and this is where we have the scene where he's like, am I cool, basically? I'm going to buy a motorcycle. You think that's cool?
It's so midlife crisis, this scene. It's great.
Got to buy a motorcycle.
And it's played really sincerely. Yeah. Like he's struggling.
Zebraman is just Kamen Rider with a cape.
Pretty much.
It looks exactly like Kamen Rider, and I'm fucking on board. I don't care.
I think I had to explain to my roommate. I was like, the thing is with these shows is like the hero always had a motorcycle.
Always.
Like there was always a motorcycle.
Oh, only in the Kamen Rider shows. Really,
well, but in the 70s, I mean, that was a big thing.
It was huge.
Spider-Man had a motorcycle. Kamen Rider had a motorcycle. That's because
Spider-Man is a Kamen Rider show, kind of. Remember, we had that conversation with Alsace, and he said the thing, and I'm like, yeah, it's a Toei show.
Right.
So, yeah. Also, the first giant robot in one of those shows.
Toei making this movie is just so perfect.
That's why it looks so good too. I can't imagine Subaraya doing anything like this.
Yeah,
I don't think they have as much of a sense of humor also.
It definitely took a sense of humor to do this.
So he also asks his son if he thinks he can fly. And then the kid's like, I don't give a shit. And then he apologizes to him before he runs away. And then
his son's like, go get him.
Go get him. Yeah, that's right. Before he leaves, his son decides he believes in him now.
It's a sweet scene.
It's the start of sweetness.
Yeah, this could eventually be like a reconciliation with his son, at least. I think him and his daughter have a really fucked up relationship that needs to be addressed too, but it doesn't get addressed during this runtime.
No. So he's going to try and fly. He uses a tree, jumps off the tree, lands face first in the fucking middle of the road. Well, he lands on a hill and rolls down the fucking and ends up in the middle of the road. And who happens to be there? But the nurse lady, the mom of Shinpai.
Zebra nurse.
Zebra nurse. Yes. Okay.
And she's
sure.
like, this woman's feeling what he's putting out. I'm saying, like, she's into it. She's digging on him because she builds him a fucking fire.
Yeah, she just takes care of him in the fucking woods. She doesn't like take him home or anything.
It's so weird. I loved it.
We do learn something very important in this scene, though, that he read the last script.
Yes, and he dies in the last.
He
script.
fucking dies because he can't fly.
Fails.
Yeah, he can't fly, so he fails, and the aliens take over the world, and everybody's dead. I'm like, what the fuck? Everybody's fucked. I'm like, I hope he was planning a sequel, but in his case, that was really going to happen. So apparently he's been practicing flying for 10 days and just can't fucking get it. So
he's in rough shape too. His costume is torn to shit. He's covered in blood. He's beat the fuck up. He's been going through it.
This is one of those shots where it's like 5 minutes and it's just them talking. No cuts.
Yeah.
No nothing. It's really good. I don't think it's actually 5 minutes, but it's a
long shot. Yeah.
And it turns out the government has kind of given up. They're like, oh, we're not able to contain this thing. We're fucked. Fuck it. Let's call in the nukes.
Yep, they're gonna set a neutron bomb off at the center of the infestation, which is of course the school. They have like some kind of machine that can tell that there's alien activity. They just can't say for sure, like what exactly is going on. But they say their sensors are picking something up.
Like, did you notice that there was just like a blip on there the whole time, and then the principal's dead now, and the blip is gone? He was definitely an alien.
Yeah.
That's the conversation. That's the whole conversation. So now Zebraman tries to fly again. This time he jumps off a bridge, and it looks like he's about to fly, but then
he does. He does like fly.
He stays up
suspended
in the
for
air
a moment
and then falls down, and it looks like he's fucking dead. His face is just in the water, and he's not moving.
Yes, I thought they were gonna have to like drag him out and resuscitate him.
Are we gonna have an A24 ending where the aliens just like
where he really
take
does
over the world?
He does get killed. The aliens win
because he can't fly. It makes sense. So the detective finds him, buys him a soda, talks him up a little bit.
And then the detective's like, "Hey, fuck it, whatever, man. It's gonna be all right." Yeah. And then he just falls over.
Well, if you just fell on your face, how many times? 10 days worth.
Yeah,
falling on your face.
Oh no! I'm not criticizing him. I completely understand.
And then
I'm just saying, like, the detective has been really gung ho up to this point, and then when he has this conversation with him, he's just like, "Man, we're all fucked.
They're gonna blow it up. Who cares now?" The nukes are getting delivered, and it's like a big neutron bomb made in the USA.
The neutron bomb part is in Japanese, but then it says made in the USA.
Shinpai goes to the school, though, while this is all happening, to do something. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. He knows there's shit's going down. Mom gets there, and there's already a barricade set up because they're going to blow up the fucking school. They're ready to do this thing. I don't know like how far away this school is from the city that they're setting up this barricade, like 20 feet from the school, and everybody apparently there is going to be okay.
It's further out than that initially.
I know. I'm being a little
The idea
sarcastic.
is, I think they said it was going to be, they were going to set up the barricade 1 kilometer away from the
Yes, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they did say that.
Which, that's only 1,000 meters. It's not that far.
That nuke is going to kill everybody there.
Well, it'll depend on what the, what the yield or whatever they call it of the bomb is. But it's a neutron bomb. You got to remember, neutron bomb is not the same as a nuke.
How can I remember that if I never knew it?
Well, because a neutron bomb, theoretically, I think a neutron bomb is just theoretical at this point. The idea is that I heard it described by a guy who was working on the neutron bomb. The idea is that it's in the special features of your Repo Man Blu-ray, by the way. Because the idea is that what was in the trunk of the car was a neutron bomb. Like that's what the guy who was driving the car said. Or that's what he indicated.
I haven't watched that movie in a while. Need to check that out.
Anyway, The neutron bomb, the idea of the neutron bomb is that it only destroys living material. It doesn't destroy property.
I feel like that's not possible.
Again, it was a theoretical thing. I don't think they ever succeeded with it.
Also, what the fuck? That also sounds evil.
Yeah, you want to know what sounds evil? Hearing the guy who worked on it describing it. That sounds fucking evil.
Is that a Oppenheimer or whatever?
It's not Oppenheimer. It's some other guy. He was like a scientist or something. But the way he describes it, I can't remember his exact wording, but it was something like, we wanted to find the way to most ethically preserve the property of the places we were bombing, so we didn't leave all this destruction in our wake, but we still killed the people we wanted to kill.
Sure.
Like, talking about it like that's the height of ethics, is like preserving property while killing mass amounts of people.
I mean, I guess it would help a little.
So fucked up.
Oh my God.
I just remember being shocked by the casual way he said that.
People aren't going to make it for very much longer, I don't think.
There is a part of me that subscribes to the idea that the whole reason things are getting so weird is because this is the only way humanity survives, is by things getting unredeemably bizarre. Because in every other universe, humanity nuked itself into oblivion.
Is that why we can't find life on other planets?
Maybe. Could be.
I think Mars was a inhabited planet until World War II. That's what it was.
Until World War II, until 1948.
Yep. maybe even sooner. Maybe even the Cold War, and then they're like, we need to kill them because we can't kill the Russians right now, but we need to be satiated. Our fucking taste for blood, man.
So we just sent thousands of nukes up to Mars.
Yeah, for fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, story checks out.
So Zebraman, he gets his fucking bike. And it looks awesome. It's a Zebraman themed bike.
He decorates it up and everything.
He goes in to save everyone, basically, even though he knows he's going to die at this point.
Yep.
He's going in there to kick some ass and
he's fully aware.
Not survive.
He's not coming out of this.
And now the detective is like, hey, the mom rode her little bicycle there. And then the detective hops on in front of her and he goes, let's go. Like, cute.
He's like, he's going to ride her into the school. He clears everybody out of Zebraman's way. Because he hears Zebraman is on the way, and so he like clears everybody out and lets Zebraman through, and then he's like, "Come on, Mom, let's go."
Oh, and it's crazy now. Everything's crazy. Zebraman gets into the school.
Dude, the heights of craziness this sequence reaches, you are not prepared for.
He finds Shinpei's wheelchair.
But by the way, I want to say this to the listener: if you haven't watched Zebraman yet, do not proceed further.
No,
you want to watch this fresh. Go watch the movie. It's on Tubi. You can watch it for free. Go do it. Then come back and listen to what we have to say about it. But you do not want to have this spoiled for you. It's glorious.
It's great. And I just want to watch it again now. Just talking about it makes me happy.
It's so fucking good.
So he gets there, and he finds the wheelchair, and it's knocked over, and he sees a bunch of glowing green eyes attached to these weird little flubber creatures, and then in this brain-looking booger sack is Shinpai, just
up on the stage.
On the stage, just fucking floating there. And
yep, he's encased in the giant booger.
And then, Zebraman fights these little alien guys. He like starts kicking them, and then eventually they blob up, and they fucking combine and form bigger little booger flubber men, and he gets his ass kicked a little bit.
Before they even form the bigger guys,
the little dudes
are taking. He's kicking a fair amount of ass, but he is also just getting overwhelmed by numbers. There's just too many of them.
He gets his ass kicked. His mask falls off, and he goes to grab his mask. He sees it on the ground. He's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" This
is his hero moment.
And this is the fucking moment. So the Z on his mask starts glowing. He grabs the mask. And then he what does he do? He starts spinning, covers himself up with the cape and shit.
Yeah, and he jumps up like the mask gives him the power, and he jumps up and he spins, and his cape wraps around him, and he lands, and his hands are held up over his head, covering his face, and then he pulls them back, and he is fully revealed as
fucking
Zebraman.
And this suit is really cool.
It's
actually
pretty rad. Yeah,
I almost take this seriously.
Yeah, no, like he's legit. He's transformed in magical armor and the whole thing. It's fucking rad.
Then he fucks up all these aliens. He fucking dives into this alien thing to get, or the brain thing, whatever it is, to get Shinpai. He carries them up to the roof,
And
As
all the aliens,
all of them,
he's crushing them left and right, and they're starting to form.
Yes.
They're starting to meld one into the next.
It's like a green Stay Puft. It's fucking great.
And then they're chasing him up the stairway like the Blob.
So it forms this gigantic, huge alien flubber booger monster. Like, this thing is so powerful.
It's 100 feet tall.
It opens up the sky, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? Nothing really exciting comes out of the sky, but he does drop a meteor right on Zebraman's head. But he uses his cape to like protect him and Shinpai. So Shinpai says, dude, you gotta fly, you gotta fight and shit, right? And he gets Zebraman to believe in things by essentially standing up.
Yeah.
By grabbing these fucking rails and like pulling himself up.
Credit where credit's due. This kid makes it look hard.
Yeah,
like,
he's doing real good.
This kid makes it look like he is struggling with every fiber of his being to stand. And he's like, hey, if I could do it, you could do it, And he gets himself up, and he is standing barely. And and like that's his moment where he's like, if I could do it, you. And then the monster grabs him.
Yes, he is stuck in another fucking booger sack.
Yep.
And then he gets dropped onto the floor, onto the ground. Like,
no,
he's falling.
He gets dropped off the edge over the edge of the building, and Zebraman's like, oh fuck, and he's like, save me.
And he does. And it's fucking great.
He dives after him,
yes.
Catches him midair, and boom, pulls it out in an Iron Man flight. Takes him right to his mom.
Yep, lands, and then shit's getting serious, because it's serious, because the rock music is fucking playing now.
Yep.
And he turns around and looks at that thing, and he's just like, it's on. The giant alien, it sprouts a fucking laser gun from its like head, like a hand pops out. It turns into
all the aliens have this one random arm growing out of their head.
I guess
all
they do, yeah.
And his random head arm transforms into a ray gun that is straight out of it's straight out of fucking Mars Attacks, and it starts blasting lasers all over the place, and that he is just flying at it Superman style, flying right through the lasers.
And then what happens? It gets fucking ridiculous.
Oh
this
my
is
god,
so stupid and awesome.
Like it unleashes, the monster unleashes this stream of laser right onto him, and he starts to glow like a fucking sun, like he's just forming a new star, and suddenly he explodes into a fucking Zebra Pegasus.
Yes.
Zebra Pegasus.
So when I watched it last night, I was so tired. I kind of like looked away, and I'm like, what the fuck happened?
That is the point at which I started shrieking with laughter. But it wasn't I wasn't just laughing at it. I was like fully into it. I was fully invested. And when that came out, I was like, yes, it was fucking glorious. I was like, yeah.
And then he carves the Z into the thing's face.
He shoots a laser out of his mouth and carves a Z in the monster's head.
I am on board.
It's beautiful.
And it fucking explodes.
It was awesome.
Getting no slime on anybody, by the way.
Nope. So, I think he just evaporated, like he just vaporized the whole thing.
So 0 stars, not realistic.
You're going to want to give this one a miss.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't waste your time.
We were pretending to be excited the whole time until we got to the end of the movie. So Zebraman saves the fucking day, right?
Yes, he does.
Everything's cool, but he still ends up in handcuffs.
Yep.
I think the detective is just trying to save face at this point, but he doesn't really care.
He's like, "What are the charges?" And the investigator sitting across from him wearing his mask.
Yeah, and he's like, "Destruction of property."
It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
I saved your property. Well, the rest of it, anyways.
It is pretty good though. Like they arrive at the courthouse and they open the doors and the whole fucking town is there like, Zebraman!
Yeah.
Zebraman!
The detective hands him the Zebraman mask and basically says they don't want you. They want Zebraman. So put this on. So he does. He gets out of the truck with his shitty Zebraman mask on.
He's back to his shitty homemade mask.
And Ichikawa, his wife, wants to fuck Zebraman. And Midori's like, kind of looks like dad. And she's like, no.
Yeah, she's like, shut the fuck up.
And the son gives him a nice nod. They have that nod moment.
Yeah, it's a nice moment between him and his son. Like, that relationship may get restored. Him and his daughter and his ex-wife.
It's going to be his ex-wife.
It's going to be his ex-wife.
He needs to go with Shinpai's mom.
Yeah.
She's cuter and cooler.
But him and his son may actually get some redemption there.
And Shinpai is out of the wheelchair now, and he's walking on crutches and shit. So I think that's going to be good. Maybe he could become Zebraman in 40 years.
He might be next generation Zebraman.
And then the detective kind of walks away as Zebraman kind of walks up the stairs, and he looks back. He sees the detective kind of walk away because the detective doesn't give a shit at this point. He's out. The aliens are dead. He's fucking like, whatever. I don't care.
His partner's dead.
His partner's dead. His friend is dead. And, Zebraman walks up the stairs, looks out at the crowd, and fucking covers himself up, right? And then he fucking transforms into real cool Zebraman, breaks the fucking handcuffs. And I said that he flies off into the sunset and the movie's over. I know he runs at the camera, but it's better to say that he flies off into the sunset.
Spiritually, he's flying off into the sunset. like the spirit of the film.
It's like Birdman.
Yeah.
Does he fly or does he die? That guy dies, I think. But
probably, yeah, in Birdman, yeah.
But in Zebraman, he can turn into a fucking Pegasus.
I fucking love this movie so much. I can't believe how good this movie is.
I am glad I just accidentally came across this. I didn't accidentally come across it. I heard about it years and years ago, and I just never got around to watching it, but I found some YouTube videos that are like adult tokusatsu or underground tokusatsu by this creator called Marco Tatsu, I think. They pointed me in the direction of all these, and these were the ones that were the easiest to find. So that's why I picked these ones.
Zebraman is solid. This is a solid movie. Again, not a good starting point necessarily for tokusatsu, but if you want a really good movie, this is a really fucking good movie. This, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna be judging everything I see against this.
Yeah, I'm a fan, and I want to watch the sequel so fucking bad right now, and it looks bonkers as shit.
The downside of that, of course, is it's going to be like Scream syndrome, where I judged all the horror I saw against Scream, and most of it's not nearly as good as that.
Yep, just remember, if you ever watch Zeram 2, it's going to be more like Zeram 1, and...
Yeah, I know.
Like, that was a well-balanced movie in tone. The tone of this movie is kind of weird.
Yeah, I didn't hate Zeram. I enjoyed Hokkaido. I enjoyed Zeram. I didn't just not hate it. I enjoyed it, but I didn't not even close to as much as I enjoyed this.
Those are like, fuck yeah kind of movies. This is like, holy shit, this is like a really good movie with a lot of fuck yeah moments.
I got all the fuck yeah, but then I also got a really good story out of it.
Yeah, this is what you wanted those other two movies to be.
Exactly.
I understand.
This is fucking glorious. I can't recommend this movie highly enough. This is your best pick yet for specifically
probably any of these
Power Rangers month and Sharks Across Tokyo. Admittedly, Godzilla, like we're talking like Godzilla is one of the greats. It's one of the most significant movies in film history. It's on that level. But this is just fucking brilliant.
We're just gonna keep on gushing about it if we keep talking about it. So
it's not an important movie. Like, that's the frustrating thing, is this is not an important movie, but it should be. It's that good. It's good enough that it could be, but it's not.
If you want, I almost called it Jackass. If you want Kick-Ass, but you want to feel good after you're done watching it,
you sort of, yeah.
This is the one.
This is fantastic. This is definitely my favorite tokusatsu. It's not even a close. It's not even. There's no consideration for anything else. This is it. This is the one.
Agreed. I might actually be on board with that. I don't know. It's a hard one for me because I like so much of it.
I know. I know you've got a way broader experience than I do. For me, there's no question.
Is legitimately.
There's no hesitation.
Yeah, this is legitimately the best movie that we've covered. Yeah. In this entire series of Power Rangers, and so yeah. So I think that's it. We're gonna quit saying it's so good and so good. We're gonna shut the fuck up now. Do you want to plug your bullshit before we run away?
I'm gonna plug my bullshit. Follow me at Samuel Mance. You can find me linked in the bio of the Sharks Across Hollywood Instagram at the Shark Pod. Follow me if you want updates on where I'll be doing comedy. I am doing most of the open mics in town. I'm discovering new open mics all the time. I found out about a new one last night. So, if there's an open mic in Spokane or near Spokane, I'll probably be doing it at some point. But then also I'll update about actual, like paid shows, like, where you're going to need a ticket to get in, that kind of thing. I'll update that on my Instagram. And eventually Facebook, when I finally get around to putting together a Facebook for my comedy, because all the comics are like, dude, you fucking have to get a Facebook. That's where it's all happening,
That's fucking weird.
It sucks, but that is where the community lives right now.
Why?
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know.
Okay, fine.
But-
You listen to the ones that know what they're talking about, I guess.
Yeah. So eventually I'll have to do that. I don't have it at this point, but when I do, you'll see it on my Instagram. My Instagram is going to kind of be the hub of where that's all happening. I'll probably get a Threads at some point too.
So you can show your butt on Threads. Maybe not your whole butt.
Really?
Not your whole butt,
Oh,
but you can be
so
a little,
it's not Twitter yet.
you can be a little sluttier on there than you
Okay.
can on
All right,
just your
I
plain
like being
Instagram.
slutty, and I like slutty social media. I'm definitely into that.
Yeah, man.
And if you're a social media slut, hit me up.
And, I do the music thing, not for nothing music on everything, because that's what we do. That's how we fuck, sir. But I guess
And then of course, Sharks Across Hollywood at the Shark Pod.
yeah. You can follow us on everything at the Shark Pod also. And you can give us money. Shut the fuck up, man. I'm trying.
You sounded like you were about ready to wrap up. I didn't want you skipping anything.
You can give us some money at patreon.com/SharksAcrossHollywood. We have a bunch of extra fucking content there. Eventually we'll start throwing more shit up there. We're just lazy and tired. Life's a fucking drag and everything is hard.
And it's fucking hot.
it's
It's
so
so hot
hot.
right now.
Like, we're having fun right now because we're talking about a movie that we both love, so it was a little easier to get through it today, but
Yeah.
sometimes. This is work, people, all right? So give us some fucking money. So yeah, this is week 3, again, of Sharks Across Tokyo. We are going to wrap it up next week with our yearly anime thing. We're going to talk about Ninja Scroll. I have laid eyes on this movie once, and my sister told me to leave because it wasn't appropriate.
It's not. It's definitely not appropriate.
I'm fucking there. Hopefully it's better. Hopefully it's a better story than Akira, but we'll get there. We'll find out.
I remember really enjoying it, but I also remember it being extraordinarily inappropriate. Yeah.
I love inappropriate things.
Well, you'll probably love it then.
Good. So we'll be back next week with Ninja Scroll, but until then, stay jawsome.